about 3 months away from the 2023 NBA Draft, and about 15 months away from the 2024 NBA Draft. Now, a lot of people might be saying it's too early to make a mock draft for this 2024 class, considering most prospects haven't even stepped foot onto a college campus yet. It's still the right time to start getting familiar with names that look like they'll be top draft picks in a year from now. And I understand that by the time the 2024 draft comes, a lot of these picks will look different, and teams I project drafting at each spot will definitely change. This draft is looking like a very wide open one, with guys who are projected at the top being guys who could be off the board completely by next year if things don't go right. I also wanted to say that this draft class is filled with a bunch of hot names and players with big followings. I want everyone watching this to know that I deeply dove into each of the main prospects game and evaluated if they would likely be lottery picks for this draft. So just know that anyone not mentioned in this list that you think I forgot was likely in deep consideration. What's going on, guys? BucketMedia back with another video, and today I'm putting out my 2024 NBA Mock Draft 1.0 edition. Before getting started, I want to thank the sponsor of today's video, Fanatics. Fanatics is affiliated with the NBA and providing your team's favorite gear, whether it be jerseys, hoodies, shirts, pants, shorts, and so many more. Fanatics always has the best quality products and is the most legit place to buy your NBA gear from. Check the link in my description or pinned comment to find some exclusive on-sale deals for NBA gear up to 60% off. Also, check the link in my pinned comment or description to check out StubHub, which is the #1 place to buy or sell tickets to your favorite events, including sporting games, concerts, and more. It would mean so much also to help support the channel as well. If you have any video suggestions or requests, please drop a comment so I can put it on the list and create it. And if you enjoy this video, please subscribe. It's by far the best way to support this channel and ensure you don't miss out on any great basketball content like this. Also, like and comment on what you guys think on each selection that I made, or any other thoughts on this mock draft, including who you think I forgot. With that being said, let's dive straight into the video. With the first pick in the 2024 NBA Draft, the San Antonio Spurs select Matas Buzelis from the G League Ignite. Currently a senior at Sunrise Christian Academy, Buzelis has a lot of what NBA teams are looking for, standing at 6'9" with legit guard skills and has a great mix of scoring and playmaking ability. Whether it be running the point or playing off the ball in the perimeter, Buzelis knows how to read the floor to make the right pass and find crafty ways to score from closeouts or breaking his man off the dribble. He really fits the mold of NBA prospects that we'll see teams raving about in the future, and is probably the most versatile player in his class, able to legitimately play 1 through 3 and maybe even 4. Buzelis is also capable of shooting beyond the arc and has the ability of taking about any shot in the book. Despite all the natural tools and high IQ he possesses, he's one of the more riskier prospects with a lot more to improve on. First goes with his frame. Obviously he needs to add more weight, but where it really shows is with handling contact on drives. He isn't athletic enough to just get past any defender every time, but he does possess the ability to get the proper angles downhill, but needs to handle contact better. He's also a pretty inefficient player who doesn't shoot the ball at a high percentage from beyond the arc, despite his ability to take those shots. Matas also isn't the best defender, being that he isn't the quickest guy on the perimeter, but what really makes me confident about all those flaws disappearing is him being in an NBA system next year. Over the next year, he'll be in a pro setting with pro players and pro development, where his body and skill set will rapidly transform, but in the process, he's going to be in a setting I think will be really tough for him to adjust to at first, but if he's able to make that adjustment, he should be the favorite at #1, but if he struggles immensely at that level, he could fall out the top 10 as well, so time is the biggest determining factor when it comes to Matas Buzelis. With the second pick in the 2024 NBA Draft, the Charlotte Hornets select Justin Edwards from the University of Kentucky. Edwards is your prototypical wing who can score the ball from all 3 levels, is extremely athletic, and has a lot of untapped potential as well. Edwards is a scorer at nature who knows how to get his mid-range shot off against almost anyone at this point, and can capably shoot the 3 as well. Edwards is also very dangerous getting downhill with his athleticism, and can finish above the rim in a variety of different ways acrobatically. Justin is also a great rebounder for his position at the 3 and can play defense both in the perimeter and in the paint, and plays with an extremely high motor. Another thing that's made Justin so intriguing as well is his ability to move without the ball, and his motor to do so as well. Not many players are able to buy into an off-ball role, slashing to the basket for easy layups or coming off ball screens for shots, but Justin has shown not only does he have no problem doing it, but with his athletic advantages he can thrive in a role like that. Playing with ball-dominant guards like DJ Wagner and Rob Dillingham next year at Kentucky, he'll see a lot of schemes ran for him without the ball. There are 2 things that can get Justin's game to the next level, and one of them is his ball handling ability. He must improve on handling the ball in tight spaces and dribbling the ball a little quicker to beat guys off the dribble one-on-one. Edwards also should look to improve on his frame and get stronger, which will only help him elevate his game even more. Justin is a guy who I think can thrive under Coach Cal at Kentucky, and is one of those guys I can't see falling off the board in this draft. With the third pick in the 2024 NBA draft, I have the Houston Rockets selecting Isaiah Collier from USC. If there's one player in this mock draft I'm willing to bet will maintain his draft stock throughout the next 15 months, it's Isaiah. He's a pure point guard, standing at a strong, compact 6'5". He sees the floor better than anybody else in this class, and knows how to make the right passes in tight spaces and get all his teammates involved. Collier also has an elite handle which he uses to efficiently break his defenders down one-on-one and get to the rack for a variety of different finishes. He has a very high feel for the game and makes all the right reads in any situation, especially coming off ball screens. He has a great change of pace and burst to the basket and can also rise above the rim. Collier is improving his three-point shot at a rapid rate and is starting to get more and more comfortable with shooting off the dribble as well. Isaiah also has the potential to be one of the best defenders for his position due to his size and quickness. Overall, Collier has the full package of what you would want to see from a point guard at the next level, and playing at a school like USC, who has arguably the best bigs in the country for college basketball, will make his job as a floor general a lot easier. With the fourth pick in the 2024 NBA draft, the Detroit Pistons select Zachary Rissache from Asvel in France. Similar to Modest Buzelis, Rissache stands at 6'9" with guard skills and is at his best playing a Swiss Army knife type of role, similar to Franz Wagner. His calling card is his shooting stroke from beyond the arc, shooting about 43% from 3. He has a very high IQ for his age, knowing where to move and what reads to make in any situation. Rissache is also an amazing playmaker, especially off the catch, reading the floor for any open guys, but also can run point at time to time, making all the right plays and decisions. Zachary can also break defenders down one-on-one and finish in the lane with soft touch, but also can cut to the basket without the ball to finish for easy layups as well. The main weakness in his game right now is his athleticism and defense. He isn't quick at all and is a pretty slow mover overall. So the question is, at the next level, how will he be able to compete with guys much more athletic than him? Rissache could also benefit from filling out his frame a bit more and getting stronger. One thing that's also notable about Zachary is that he averages about 12 minutes a game playing against some of the best competition in Europe and has been extremely efficient on the few shots he's taken per game, which is always a great thing in an NBA scout's eyes. As long as he continues on his current trajectory, I can see Zachary maintaining a spot as one of the more intriguing overseas prospects in this draft. With the fifth pick in the 2024 NBA draft, I have the Utah Jazz selecting Ron Holland from the University of Texas. Holland is one of the youngest players in this draft class and has all the tools needed for his position. The first thing that stands out about his game immediately is his athleticism. Jumping, moving laterally, sprinting, covering distance, etc. He checks all the boxes as a pure athlete, and he uses those athletic traits on the defensive end, where he has probably solidified himself as the best defender of this group so far with his extremely high motor. Holland's offensive game revolves around him getting to the basket, where he makes the right off-ball reads to get to open layups, but can also blow past almost anyone in transition. Holland still needs to improve his ball skills overall and isn't a guy who you would necessarily let run your offense or give the ball to for a bucket, but rather is a plug-and-play guy up to this point. His shooting has been coming along nicely and is slowly improving, but the main focus point for him is his ball handling and being able to break down guys one-on-one. Ron could also improve his IQ a little bit more, making better decisions. If he relies solely on his athletic gifts to get him by during his time at Texas, he could see himself falling off the board completely, similar to how Dylan Mitchell did this year. But if he shows improvement in his shooting and ball handling, I can see him being drafted somewhere around this area for the lottery. With the sixth pick in the 2024 NBA draft, I have the Chicago Bulls selecting Cody Williams from the University of Colorado. Assuming the Bulls jump into a rebuild mode and blow it up, they have nothing to lose by taking one of the riskiest prospects with one of the highest upsides in the draft in Cody Williams. Williams is the little brother to Jalen Williams of the OKC Thunder, and like his big brother, he broke out onto the scene out of nowhere this summer. Williams is a 6'8" wing with a very long wingspan and moves well in his lengthy body, which still looks like he hasn't fully grown into yet. Despite Williams being a project player, he's fundamentally sound, having a near ambidextrous ball handling ability, a nice form, and is a good passer who's unselfish. Williams also has a good IQ for his age and knows when and where to make the right plays. But aside from that, Williams doesn't bring much else to the table. He's not yet able to break guys down one-on-one. He isn't a consistent shooter, does not play through contact well, and doesn't have a filled out frame yet. But the main intrigue with him is what his upside could be, considering he's farther along the trajectory as a prospect than his brother Jalen was at that same age. Going to a school like Colorado will give him the freedom to play through his mistakes and learn at his pace, which ultimately could see him having a major growth spurt as a basketball player 15 months from now. With the seventh pick in the 2024 NBA draft, the Washington Wizards select DJ Wagner from the University of Kentucky. Wagner has one of the more complete scoring packages as a guard in this class. Standing at 6'3", he's extremely unpredictable getting downhill. He thrives in the mid-range, where he uses a number of different separation moves to create space for his shot, but is especially lethal with his pull-up jumper. Wagner also can get to the rack through contact just about better than any guard in this class, and has a variety of finishes and can swiftly use his handle to get past just about anybody. DJ's footwork and change of direction is just as polished as any player in this class, and is very creative in finding ways to get the initial first angle downhill against a defender. Wagner has no problem playing off the ball, having the ability to come off a curl and hit shots and score off multiple off-ball schemes ran through him. DJ is also a good three-point shooter for his current level, but has shown when placed in settings where the three-point line extends out, he isn't ready to hit those shots at an efficient rate yet, which really is the main point of emphasis for him up to this point. Also, there are questions about his efficiency. DJ up to this point is an extremely high usage player who takes a lot of difficult shots, and you always question how that translates to the next level and so on. But being at Kentucky with a loaded pool of primetime players, we will truly see how Wagner is able to perform with less shot attempts than he's accustomed to getting in high school. Wagner also hasn't shown much playmaking ability, as you'd like to see from a relatively undersized guard, and there are questions about what his natural position is, because he may be too small to play 2, but also not as much of a playmaker to play 1 at the NBA level. It's also important to know that Wagner comes from an insane basketball lineage, where following his grandfather and father was the 3rd consecutive McDonald's All American in a row, which is the first time for that ever to happen. And both his dad and grandfather played in the NBA, so giving that also gives Wagner an extreme advantage over his peers. With the 8th pick in the 2024 NBA draft, the Indiana Pacers select Kobe Buffkin from Michigan University. Buffkin is the first current college player in this mock draft thus far, and he's really started to turn some heads as we've been getting into conference play. Buffkin is a 6'4", 200-pound guard who could score the ball at all 3 levels at an elite level. He has a lot of wiggle to his game and plays very similarly to Jordan Poole, who's a Michigan alumni. Buffkin isn't the most explosive player, but he's still quick for his size, and is able to use his quickness and tight silky handle to create separation and hit tough shots. Being a sophomore currently, NBA scouts have had plenty of opportunities to check Buffkin out, dating back to his freshman year, but the main knock on him was his efficiency and consistency. Shooting 22% from 3 and 38% from the field in his first year of college basketball had scouts on their heels wondering if he was worth a draft pick. Starting the season, a lot was the same for Kobe, but over the course of the past few months, he's really started to step it up, not only being one of Michigan's best players currently, but also doing so at an efficient rate, shooting near 50% from the field and 36% from 3. If Buffkin decides to go into the 2023 NBA draft, he would likely be an early second round to late first round pick. But with him being younger than most freshmen in college basketball, I can see him staying for his junior year, where he'll take on a much bigger role and see his draft stock skyrocket as one of those breakout players that are easy to see from far. With the 9th pick in the 2024 NBA draft, the Orlando Magic select Bilal Coulibaly from the Metropolitans 92 in France. The face of the show right now in French basketball is obviously Victor Wembanyama, but you don't need to look too far to find more talent in France. His teammate Bilal looks like he's next up and has a ton of untapped potential that NBA scouts will love. First off, he has great size as a 6'6" guard with an extremely long wingspan and amazing athleticism. Bilal has shown he can do a lot of damage scoring the ball, with his specialty being his ability to get to the basket through contact and finish at an absolutely jaw-dropping level for his age already. He's also a great defender who can block shots and lock down at an above-average level for his position. Coulibaly is eligible for the 2023 NBA draft, but what makes scouts hesitant to take him this year is his lack of experience playing at a high level. He doesn't get many minutes on the main Mets 92 team, understandably so, being that he is the youngest guy on the team and is playing with former and future NBA guys. So because of that, here and there he gets minutes and has shown flashes of what his NBA potential could look like. Bilal would benefit tremendously in another year of Euroball, where he'll see himself playing a lot more and getting more in-game reps, which can give NBA teams the confidence to select him. Overall, the main takeaway from Bilal is that his sample size is very limited and is a prospect being based mainly on speculation. With the 10th pick in the 2024 NBA draft, the Toronto Raptors select Xavier Booker from Michigan State University. When talking about players with the highest ceilings in this draft, Booker is definitely with the cream of the crop and has a lot of tools that can make him an NBA star. The first thing to talk about with him is his length. At 6'11", the big man is like a gazelle and can run up and down the court and catch lobs from anywhere in the peripheral, but also has extremely long legs and an extremely long wingspan. Booker is pretty quick for his size and he can jump out the gym, but it doesn't stop there. He's just starting to develop his extremely raw skill set and his impressive footwork and ability to grab rebounds and put the ball on the deck. Xavier is also starting to shoot the ball better than he did this past summer, not only by spotting up for catch and shoot threes, but being able to pull up in the mid-range as well. While Booker does have a lot of upside and a little bit of game, he's still very raw at this stage, and there are some concerns with taking him with the top pick in the NBA draft 2 years from now. The first concern has to do with how his game will translate when playing for Tom Izzo. Booker still needs to fill his frame out, being pretty skinny and hasn't shown a big sample size of what he can do against a higher level competition. Another question with Xavier is what is his floor? We already know his ceiling is through the roof, but at worst, what can he do? I also would like to see what his production would be like when he isn't in the open floor and the lanes are clogged up. These next 4 months are going to be really crucial with the McDonald's All American game and Nike Hoop Summit coming up. Xavier will be tested against the best players in the country for his class, and we'll really see how dominant he'll be against players who are near his size, considering that he's been playing against lower competition. With the 11th pick in the 2024 NBA draft, the New Orleans Pelicans vied the Los Angeles Lakers select London Johnson from the NBA G League Ignite. Johnson decided to forego his senior season of high school basketball and signed with the NBA G League a year early, and it paid off thus far for Johnson. Currently, he's averaging 10 points, 3 assists, and 2 rebounds a game for Ignite. London is a very polished player who can score the ball at all 3 levels, but also has a shifty handle, and he's very deceptive, especially getting to his spots. He also has a very tight handle and a pro-level pickup for his shots, especially going downhill into his pull-ups. Johnson has massive playmaking upside, which hasn't fully been on showcase yet due to him taking a role this year, but his full playmaking skills should be on full display next season as he takes on a bigger role for the G League Ignite. Johnson's athleticism is yet to fully kick in, but he's still growing into his body, which could take him some time. Based on what London has shown with the Jamaican national team, Nike Hoop Summit, and his time in the G League so far, it's safe to say London has a pretty low floor. And at worst, you know what you'll get out of a guy like him, but he also has a lot left to showcase, and a lot of untapped skills and potential that can boost his draft stock into the greater part of the top 10 eventually, if showcased. With the 12th pick in the 2024 NBA draft, the Portland Trailblazers selected Adai Mara from Spain, standing at a massive 7'3", but he isn't your typical big man. First off, Adai is a dominant force in the paint, whose frame is already filled out quite a bit and is aggressive against opposing defenses. Mara possesses advanced footwork, very soft touch, and an elite finishing ability at such a young age and such a big size, which is very impressive already. Adai is also a lob threat who knows when to rise for lobs, but also flushes them home ferociously. Mara moves exceptionally well for his size and is very comfortable in his body already, which gives NBA teams less concerns to worry about. But what really makes Adai so promising is his passing ability. Whether it be in the low post, high post, wings, perimeter, you name it, Adai is an elite passer who can read the floor and make mind-blowing passes that you don't even see from guys like Wemby. Mara also possesses an extremely high IQ and feel for the game, overall knowing when to time passes, where to move, and how to read opposing defenses, and where to move without the ball. Mara also is capable of hitting spot-up mid-range shots, which may be difficult to get off at the next level, but he has the length and elevation to do so. While you may be thinking he is the perfect prospect, he still has some things he needs to work on. One thing is his 3-point shot. Taking a 7'3" guy in the lottery seems like a major reach. We've seen guys like Bol Bol and Zach Edey and more not get selected in the lottery because height isn't enough. For a guy like Adai to truly separate himself, he must prove that he's able to shoot threes, which will only open up his game even more. On top of this, despite Adai playing professionally in Spain, he still has yet to produce at a very high level. But nevertheless, he still has time to show what he can do, and based on his full skill set and what we're seeing from guys like Nikola Jokic and Joel Embiid, I think Adai is worthy of a lottery pick in this draft. With the 13th pick in the 2024 NBA draft, the Atlanta Hawks select Stephon Castle from the University of Connecticut. Castle is a big 6'6" guard who's an above-average athlete. He thrives best in a transition setting, going downhill and attacking defenders to get to the basket for dunks or different types of finishes. Castle makes great reads against help defense and has a variety of pickups to counter moving help. Stephon is also a great playmaker downhill, having the ability to hit teammates with different types of passes. Where Castle's best strength is, though, is on the other side of the ball, where he's a ferocious and tenacious defender, using his above-average size and athleticism to strip the ball from opposing offenses and create transition offense himself. There are some questions about Stephon Castle in multiple facets of the game. First of all is that he isn't the best shooter on the perimeter, nor in the field, and has been inconsistent for the most part. Castle is also limited when matched up against half-court offenses at times, but despite this, he is still able to make the correct reads off ball screens. Castle also isn't a true point guard, but isn't enough of a perimeter scoring threat to be a 2-guard, so positional questions could be huge when it comes to his draft stock. Overall, I'm buying into Castle's upside and think under Dan Hurley at UConn, he could develop into a lottery talent, but he must improve on his perimeter scoring game and find his true position and buy into that role. Finally, with the 14th pick in the 2024 NBA draft, the Brooklyn Nets select Kwame Evans Jr. from the University of Oregon. Evans is one of the most intriguing prospects from a tools perspective out of anyone in high school basketball currently. Evans is a 6'9" forward who moves great for his size and is extremely versatile both on the offense and defensive end. Offensively, he can grab boards and push it up the court with ease, but is also capable of spotting up from 3 or being placed in pick and pop situations where he can hit threes with his smooth form. Kwame also has soft touch around the rim and is able to finish in many different angles at the rim. Defensively, Kwame can guard 2 through 4 consistently and can be placed on pick and roll switches against point guards from time to time. Kwame also knows how to move and help and step in to fill in the lanes. Despite all of this, Evans still is filled with question marks, and it all starts with his motor. He isn't a guy who's going to make hustle plays or leave it all out on the court 100% of the time, which is a big question at the next level. Kwame is also not the most physically imposing player who's going to bully guys down low, and on top of this, he isn't able to break guys down one-on-one off the dribble yet. He's really a plug-and-play guy at this level, with a ton of potential and tools that hasn't been tapped into yet. I also question how he fits into Oregon's system with Dana Altman, who's shown he hasn't given consistent minutes to freshmen no matter what their high school rank is, and considering he isn't the most college-ready player physically and is competing with fellow 5-star freshman Mookie Cook for minutes, adds another layer of worry. Overall, I'm buying into his upside, and I think it's more likely that he ends up as a lottery pick than not. It's obviously way too early to jump into any conclusions as to what players will be picked where and what teams will select where, and it's going to be 100% different by the time the draft comes around. This is just a rough sample of what players will be in consideration, and this draft class is one of the tougher ones to evaluate, considering that it's absolutely wide open, and a guy like a Diamara at 12 could be a top 3 pick, or fall off the board completely. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you made it to the end and you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. It's by far the best way to support me and help this channel grow, and I appreciate you so much if you're a returning or new subscriber. Make sure to check out the link in my pinned comment or description for the best ways to buy or sell tickets to your favorite events at StubHub. Also, check the link in my pinned comment or description to check out my Fanatics store link for some exclusive deals on NBA gear before they expire and to help support the channel. Stay tuned because we have something big coming soon. If you haven't already, make sure to join the Discord link in the description, like the video, and comment on any video suggestions for the future, or anything I could have done better. Also, comment on who you guys think should be selected at which spot, and also what players I missed. Let's get a great basketball conversation started. I'll see you guys in the next video, and have a blessed day. Peace.